Health officials still urging caution as the highly contagious Omicron spreads. Along with the vaccine, masks are still being pushed to help halt the virus. But what's the best mask for the job? Here to discuss, Dr. Tatiana Prowl, an oncologist and associate professor of oncology at Johns Hopkins. Dr. Prowl, thanks for being with us here on Morning in America.
Good morning.
Some health officials have stated surgical masks and cloth masks aren't offering enough protection, especially against Omicron. What should we be wearing?
Yeah, so the recommendation at this time has changed because we recognize that although the coronavirus has been airborne the entire time, this current variant that we're dealing with, the Omicron variant, is much more contagious. So what we really need is a mask that has both better fit as well as better filtration. So surgical masks, which many people have been wearing for much of the pandemic and feeling very protected by, provide good filtration, but they typically aren't snugly fit on the face. So what we're really looking for now is an N95 mask. That 95 refers to the percent of filtration of airborne particles in the mask. So we're looking for an N95 mask or the South Korean equivalent of an N95 mask, which is called a KF94 mask, or the Chinese equivalent of an N95, which is called a KN95. Just basically something that is going to filter more of those particles out of the air and fit more snugly on the face.
State by state, there are differences in opinions of when you wear your mask, how you wear your mask. What about the people who say, I've gotten the vaccine, I don't need to wear a mask? What do you say to that?
You know, earlier in the pandemic, I think we saw that many people were able to sort of loosen up their mask practices. Many people had gone back to feeling comfortable indoors without a mask or maybe with a less protective mask. What we've seen with the Omicron variant is that it is so contagious that even in some individuals who are fully vaccinated, even in some individuals who are boosted, we have seen outbreaks when people have gathered. So there have been examples of a party that took place in Norway that I'm aware of examples amongst my own colleagues where everyone said, we're vaccinated, we're boosted, maybe we even tested negative, we feel safe to gather without a mask. And in fact, what we see is the attack rate in these parties or in these gatherings. This means the percentage of people who will end up infected if there's one person present who has the virus, in some cases approaches 80 or even 100%, meaning almost everyone in that room will end up infected. It's just so contagious. So I think that we should think of this like layering protection. So this is really similar to what we do in a car, where we know that a seatbelt provides us with great protection, but we don't rely on that alone. We say we're going to have a designated driver if we've had alcohol, we're going to have a seatbelt, we're going to have an airbag. If we're buying a new car, maybe we're going to look at the crash test ratings and so forth. We're really layering all those different protections together because the implication of having an accident is significant. And we may know that we're going to do all these things, and the majority of time, we're not going to have an accident at all. Some of us might have been driving for years and not had an accident, but we want to avoid one because we know that if we have an accident, that's time away from work, that's expense, that might be injury to ourselves, that might be injury to someone else. This is really very much the same idea.
Dr. Prowl, the CDC updated its guidance earlier this week. Those who've been infected are asked to wear a mask for 5 days following their isolation. Same for those that have potentially been exposed. Now, I want you to take a listen to what Dr. Fauci told our Adrienne Bankert yesterday morning regarding those guidelines.
This is a highly transmissible virus. So when you have someone that you know is infected, as long as they're without symptoms, it was felt to be prudent, keep them isolated for 5 days. And then in the second half of that 10-day period, when the likelihood of transmission is extremely low, let them go out with a mask, being careful, so that they could fulfill their job in the society to keep society going smoothly.
So my question to you, do masks offer enough protection, especially as you just mentioned, that this thing is so contagious that we could be sitting in public next to someone that has the virus?
Yeah, I think that this is a real concern. We will be sitting in public next to people that have the virus. You know, this is what we're seeing yesterday, about 600,000 new confirmed cases of COVID-19 in the US. Those are only the people who could access testing in a formal way. That's not all the people looking for a test who were unable to find one. That's not all the people getting a rapid test at home. So it's clear that we have millions of new cases per day. And the odds are that if you are out in public indoors, you are likely to be in a room at this point with someone who is infected. So this is why it's so important for everyone to be wearing the mask. Sometimes people say, well, you're wearing the mask, and if you're worried about the virus, you wear the mask, and I don't need to wear the mask. I think we have to recognize that there are going to be people in virtually every room that we go in at this moment and for the next month or 6 weeks where there will be someone infected. We have to all assume that that's us, and we have to all assume that that's the person right next to us. So we really have to be wearing these high-quality masks, or it will not be safe to have these shorter periods of isolation.
Dr. Tatiana Prowl, thank you for your expertise.
Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to click on the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.